Welcome to this educational tool designed to shed light on your career path. Be it fine arts, dance, nursing, or sports, we've picked the minds of the best and the brightest with you in mind. My name is Robert Macon.
Hi, I'm Tamarie.
I'm Melissa Contreras.
And I'm Raymond McDaniel.
And you're watching Talk Back at West LA College.
My name is Raymond McDaniel, and this is West LA Talk Back. I am the president of the student organization for West LA College, and today I have the chair of our Fine Arts and Humanities Division. This is Michael Arata. So, Professor Arata, tell us about the Fine Arts and Humanities Division.
The division's pretty broad. It encompasses a lot of different areas: fine arts, art history, music, theater, film production, cinema, philosophy, foreign languages, humanities. So it's got a broad area that we cover and try to develop.
So the division, it seems like you have like a lot of opportunities that come from because you have a lot of little programs and a lot of classes. Like, what are some of the things that you try to strive your students to become, like after they come in your division? Well,
we focus on two areas, and the students are pretty aware of it even when they begin, that it's either going to be a transfer issue for them, so that they're taking this as a 2-year foundation program, and most of our courses are under division, so they're all foundation based, and the other option is to train them with a skill so that they can have a skill set and go out and seek a job in the meantime. So, and this works at both ways. So they can also have a part-time job while they're seeking their higher education.
What are some success stories that you've seen?
We had a lot of people transfer to four-year colleges. A lot of them go to private colleges, go to Otis. For some reason, they like to stay there. Since we're on the west side and their residences on the west side, they transfer to Otis because they like to stay in the area. But a lot of them have moved, or a few of them moved to Cal Arts, USC, and Art Center with more private schools, and UCLA.
We also have a lot of 2-year programs also.
The film production program is a 2-year program developed and, it's planned so that students can take that from the beginning and end up at the end of the 2 years and slide or move right into the film union and work as a production person, usually what they refer to as below the line. So we're talking about people who are electricians, gaffers, lighters, the people who actually put together the sets and the scenes and make them work so that the actors can perform.
What other programs are somewhat like your film production program?
Well, we have a multimedia certificate, and that program allows them to run through certain or specific areas focusing on web design and animation and film production. Basically editing is what we're talking about in that place. And that one is pretty successful in that the students who go through those programs are actually either making films, editing films, working on films, or making an income designing and maintaining websites.
What is your vision for expansion for your division?
I want to expand that multimedia program with more courses and more in-depth courses so that they can develop further, because as technology grows, we need to continue to grow as well in order to stay on top of it, because like I was talking about how people want to stay in the area, we have Silicon Beach now, which is the Venice area that's developing like crazy in terms of multimedia and what's becoming very popular. Google, basically, it's all that multimedia, social networking kind of material that's happening there. But it isn't just that too. There's also encompasses advertising, which the computer graphics area handles, because we do all we develop all the commercial advertising both for print and web areas, and basic skills in design to move into that. And once you have that certificate, then you've got some skills.
The most valuable advice that you can give to a fine arts student or a humanities student at this point in time?
Don't just do things that are, or work that meets the requirement. Go beyond that, for the assignment. Take it much further than that. Get it in depth. And the more passion and involvement one has in it, the further they're going to go. And they're going to be recognized for that.
Michael, it's been a pleasure talking to you today.
It has been great.
Yeah.
It's a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, this is West LA Talkback. My name is Raymond. This is Professor Arata. You guys have a great day.
We'll return after this.
Hi, I'm Kathy Froloff from the library, where our reference librarians, the best search engines you'll ever use, will help you do research for your classroom assignments. Library Reserve stores many classroom textbooks. In Laurel, the Library Instruction Research Lab, not only will you be able to access our online catalog, periodical and research databases, and the internet, you can also use word processing programs such as Word, Excel, and PowerPoint to print out classroom assignments. Photocopying services are available, and study rooms for group study can be booked on a first-come, first-served basis.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the show. Today I have Leanne Paquette, who is a student here at West LA College out of our ceramics program. How are you doing today, Leanne?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Cool. So let's start off. How do you make ceramic artwork?
Every piece begins with a ball of mud, a ball of clay. So you take your clay, take it over to the wedging table, wedge it out, get all the air bubbles out, place it on the wheel, center it, and start from there. Everything begins with a pile.
Okay.
Mush.
So how long have you been doing in the ceramics class here at West?
I've been here for 4 semesters. So this is our extruder. You put clay in the top here, and you have these different dies. You can pick whatever shape. If you want it to be a solid piece, you would pick something like that. If you want it to be a hollow piece, you would pick something like that to make a tube. And then you push the clay down through here. It comes out this way. And then when you get it out, you either have a tube of something you can sculpt or a solid piece of a shape. And then you create whatever you want to create. If you have big pieces, you can use these pieces of wood. This is a wedging table. This is also a wedging table where you wedge out your clay before you start working to get rid of the air bubbles. And that is where all pieces begin. It's a hunk of clay and a wedging table. Or bats first when you're sculpting a piece or when you get a piece off of the wheel. You can use them both ways, and they spin. You can use them to paint, you can use them to sculpt. I use those a lot. These are forms you can mold your clay onto. These are used a lot with the wheel. When you're centering, you need to put a piece on here if it has an interesting neck or a short piece that you can't flip it over. You need to protect the neck, so you would use one of these, center this on your wheel, and then trim the bottom when you're doing your feet. So these are a couple of buckets of glaze that we have, and if you take a look, it looks like water. You have to mix them really well. It's made up of a whole bunch of things I don't know too much about. When your pieces are finished and after they're bisque fired, they go into a glaze firing. So this is what you would put on them. It's called glaze. I threw it on the wheel, and then I used a tool, a wire tool, to cut the bottom off to give it this texture. I then, after it came out of the bisque, instead of glazing the whole thing, this is called iron oxide, which is not quite a glaze, to keep that a different texture than this, and then I glazed this.
What are some of the things that attract you to ceramic artwork, to where you built this passion to actually make ceramic artwork?
You know, it's another way to create art. Mm-hmm. I love clay. I love how it feels. It's cold. It's really grounding, and you never know what you're going to get. And you sort of have to work with the clay because it's really in charge. You can have an idea of where you're going, but you don't know what's going to happen when you fire it. You don't know what you're going to get when it comes out of the bisque fire and then goes into the glaze. You don't know what the glaze is actually going to do. It's not perfect science. It's always a chance, and that's what I really love about it.
Wow. So what are some of the other things that West provides for you here as a student that keeps you here and keeps you grounded as a student?
Incredible professors to start with. You have an amazing learning center with incredible tutors. I basically lived there my first 2 semesters. I wouldn't have made it without the support of the professors and the Learning Center. Tutoring is really important for me. It's hard to come back to school after being on hold for so long. We're really lucky to have Professor Bleckner. We're really lucky to have Dr. Manner in your English department is amazing. So doing classes like that, you know, this is fun and it's art, so this is a little easier for me, but doing the academics was a little more challenging. So with the help of some really wonderful professors, I've been able to, I started with one art class and I became a full-time student because I was so inspired.
What are some other things that you want to accomplish in the future?
My main focus right now is just keeping arts in schools. I have a 7-year-old who is in 1st grade, and I am amazed at how art is always the first thing to go when it comes to school funds being slashed. And that is the reason I'm in school. So it would be a real shame if it was. It is a real shame when the funds get slashed for arts, because that's the reason I'm a student, is for art, is because of art. And I know a lot of people that are in that same situation. They wouldn't be in a school if it wasn't for art.
So of course you use the art to, you know, handle your stress, because I can see that it makes you a lot more of a stressful person. What are some other things that you utilize to relieve stress and make it to where you're a student, a mother, and also a fine artist?
Yoga, number one. My family, my son's smile, you know, the support from my husband. My family and friends that believe in what I'm doing. When I tell them that I'm going to school for art after not being in school for so long, they don't say, "Oh, why don't you become a psychologist?" or "Why don't you do this?" They're inspired, so that inspires me.
That's awesome. Leanne, it was great interviewing you today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on Talkback. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.
Next, Cy Richardson.
Well, here we are. The HLRC is probably the most important study resource on campus. It provides areas for quiet study time, all the supplies you could need to do extensive research on just about any topic, tutoring services almost every subject, and labs to reinforce what you're learning in class. With 70,000 books and 100 computers at your disposal, if you can't find it here, it probably doesn't exist. Good luck in your future studies. Perhaps I'll see you in the library. See you soon.
Welcome to the show. We're at the film department. And my guest today is a gentleman that you've seen in Conginti, Walker, Straight to Hell. He is Mr. Cy Richardson. He is not only a great scriptwriter, a great actor, but a great singer and so much more. And Cy, it's good to have you with us today.
Well, good to be here. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
Well, we've known each other 33 years, and I'm glad that you took the time to come here to West LA College, because I know you've been here before, worked on projects here before, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of how to get into directing. How does one become a director? That's part of the film program, and you yourself have done, 40, 50 movies. Now you're a director as well. How did you get into the business as a director?
Well, that's an answer that's not really a good answer, because I got in it because I'm an actor, and one day this guy comes to me and he says, have you ever directed? And I said, no. He says, would you like to direct my play? I said, sure. So what I did was I went to a class, a guy named S.S. Dove, and I took his 4-day directing class. And then after that, I started reading books to find out as much as I could about directing. And then something hit me. I need to go talk to some of the guys that I've worked with. You know, at the time, I had done just about 50 features. So I met with one of the guys I had done like 3 films for, and I told him, I say, I got this project I'm going to direct, which is a play. What kind of advice can you give me? He says, Cy, you are a great actor. He says, give them what you have in your heart. Do that. So I did that, and we were nominated 3 times by NAACP Image Awards. You know, and then I went over to LACC and took some classes over there. My whole idea for anything we do is you've got to go to school.
Is it true that an actor can really do a better job of directing because he's been an actor?
No, all the actor brings to it is he knows how to communicate with an actor. That's what he does well. There's one of the colleges in Northridge. They would send their students to my acting class to study with me. And one day, I heard one of them say, well, you know, we're directing. And I said, why do I got a class of 20 people and 12 of you are directors, not actors? He said, well, the professor said to come to my class because I can train you how to talk to actors to get your film done. You know, see, but I think anyone who has the ability, a story that they like, have some idea of how life runs, how people communicate, they can direct.
They're empty.
No, they're simply not filled. This is your book, son. Make me proud.
A while back, you had the opportunity of working with Elvis Costello, and people that are watching right now probably don't know this, but you're a great singer, a great creator of music. I'd like you to elaborate a little bit about that because we have a great music department here at West LA College.
Well, you want to start at the beginning? At 4 years old, I cried sitting in the middle of the church aisle because my father was on the stage singing and I wanted to be on the stage. The pastor stopped the group from singing, had me come up on the stage, and I sung, my only song I knew was called Do Lordy, Do Lordy, Do Lordy. I sung that and sit back down. And that's how my singing career started. By the time I was 16, we was working for a company called Profile Records, and then we left them and started our own company called Transworld Sound Records. So I've been singing all my life. I sung up until I was 29. I went back to college, became a journalist. I majored in music, and when I got to Boulder University, CU, they told me that they didn't have a vocal major, so I couldn't major in music. So I changed my major to journalism because there I could write jingles, I could still be involved in the industry. And from there, I went on to do a musical for 2 years and then left and came to California. And the first film I did, I also sung in. So singing is my heart, my first love. You know, see, but I made more money in 4 years as an actor. So I figured God called me to be an actor. That's how I ended up, you know, spending the last 42 years as an actor. Yeah.
Well, as you know, because you've been here before, and for the audience out there, we have a great fine arts department headed up by Professor Michael Harada. And since we're talking about directing and the film business and the television business, we want the people out there to understand that it's so important, as you said, to get your education and to understand how to direct, how to do all facets of the business. With that thought in mind, we talked about directing. We did not talk about the director directing the actor, but the director also has a lot to do with the cinematography, the locations. To make the locations, the movie has to be much better, has to be a better quality. So with the location work, that also uplifts the production value of that particular movie. Let's talk a little bit about that from your point of view.
I did a film in Spain called Straight to Hell. And one day I'm sitting there with the director, and we're just looking around. And I asked the director, I says, Alex, how do you direct a film in a foreign country where there are people from 15 different countries and none of them speak English? How do you manage to direct them and you only speak English? He says, we all speak one language, movie making. He said, I'll show you something. He says, cut, it's a wrap. And everyone went about their business doing what it is they have to do. What a director does is he talks to the production manager and they discuss who they're going to hire. You don't hire people that can't get the job done or can't do what you want them to do. We watch movies, we see different sets, we see what kind of work that these people have done. So, okay, I want him as a location manager. He seemed to find places and spots that I know exist. The director, the production managers, they hire people that can give them what they're looking for. You know, because the director can't do it all.
So I want to thank you for talking with us. It's been a pleasure.
I wonder if I enjoyed it.
And until next time, keep your visions positive. Keep positive people around you. Believe, and you shall achieve. Bye for now.
Next, Carla Moxie.
I've been playing sax since junior high. While marching band and high school orchestra were cool, my real interest lies in jazz. The music program at West has a great rep, and I've been getting a much broader appreciation for music in general. The jazz ensemble is exactly what I was looking for. While my plan is eventually to transfer to a four-year university, my short-term goal is to be the best sax player the jazz ensemble has ever seen. And they're going to miss me when I'm gone.
Welcome back. I'm here with Carla Moxley, singer-songwriter. How are you today, Carla?
I'm great, thank you.
All right. So you have a new album coming out. So tell us about that.
Well, I actually just released a pre-release to the album. It's a song called Don't Run, and then the album actually comes out July 1st.
And what inspires you to write your music?
Mostly everything. Let's say the kind of relationships I might have at the time, or just seeing some moment in someone else's life and being able to kind of connect with that and capture that. So, yeah.
Very nice. So what is the message behind your new song, Don't Run?
You know, it's actually about kind of taking your time when you're starting a relationship, or when you're kind of this idea of falling in love, and rather than just falling in and being there, just taking your time and really getting to know somebody, and yeah, just taking a little time.
Well, we all need a little time sometimes. And would you agree that performance helps build self-confidence?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. When I was very young, I was really shy. I barely spoke, and the only thing I did was sing. So if someone asked me to sing, I'd be like, oh yeah. And eventually, that kind of rippled over to the other parts of my life. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
All right. And how long have you been a songwriter and singer?
It's been about 22 years. I started when I was 7 years old, and so from then until now, we're not going to talk about my age, okay? I'm 25 forever. But yeah, 22 years, and my first song I wrote on receipt paper when I was 7. And I showed my dad, and I was like, Dad, look at this song I wrote. And it wasn't very good, but I was 7, so they're a little bit better now.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, at 7, writing. So how has West LA influenced your creativity in music?
You know, I'm taking psychology with Dr. Lee, and he's a fantastic teacher. And you know, just kind of learning about myself has really helped me be able to connect with these other emotions that people feel a little bit deeper, and just kind of expressing that in such a way, and basically learning an emotional language through understanding myself.
So, Carla, can you tell me, is music a stress outlet for you?
Yeah, it definitely is. Listening to music really, you know, relaxes the mind, and writing itself and creating a piece of art like that is really a huge way of just kind of releasing anything that you might be holding on to. So, yeah.
Well, Carla, thank you for being with us. And when we come back, you'll be singing your new song, Don't Run. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Golterman, Dean of Admissions and Records at West. We're an open access institution, so anyone who is over 18 or a high school graduate is welcome to apply. If you're under 18 and in high school and you want to get a jump start on college, we have programs for you as well. If you're not a high school graduate, you will not qualify for financial aid, so you may want to work on getting a GED if you need to qualify for financial aid to go to college. Probably the best tip I can give you is to pay attention to withdrawal deadlines and to apply early. You need to apply for financial aid and for admissions at least 3 to 4 months ahead of the start of the semester. And once you sign up for a class, you need to really commit to that class and pay close attention to the drop deadlines. Students now are only allowed 3 attempts at a class. I hope to see you in the admissions and records office soon. Thank you and welcome to West.
You can run to fall fast faster than your heart beats. Your heart beats. Slippery slope when you don't know, but you feel, but you don't know. Don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk in a love. Don't run, don't run, don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk in a love. Don't run, don't run, don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk in a love. Don't run, don't run. See the wind in your step, moving toward what you imagine is waiting. Into the rainbow, pot of gold. How do you know if you're never told? Don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk in a love. Don't run, don't run, don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk in a love. Don't run, don't run, don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk in a love. Don't run, don't run. You won't wanna hold anyone. You won't wanna kiss anyone. You won't wanna live without the one. You won't wanna live without the one. You won't wanna hold anyone. You won't wanna kiss anyone. You won't wanna, oh, you wanna leave. Don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk into love. Don't run, don't run, don't fall in love. Feels good, but it hurts when it's done. Just walk into love. Don't run, don't run, don't run. Hurts when it's done. Just walk.